G'day viewers, it's Michael here again and welcome back to Single Racer. And now I know when it comes to the Pacific Coast Highway I'm a little late to the party, but given that I'm a private person rather than a party person, I don't even go to the party. But given that this is my specific Pacific Coast Christmas cruise, I just wanted to say a thank you more or less to Phoenix 77, as I've been a long time supporter of the work that he has done and these absolutely brilliant tracks. And of course I think everyone knows by now that if you come over here to Race Department to download the free version of the Pacific Coast, and you can buy some extras that open up different areas or different features of this magnificent track. He's dedicated it to his brother Jeremy, which unfortunately he lost, I assume, this year. I don't really know the details behind it, but from a Christmas point of view, I'd imagine it wouldn't be the best Christmas that Phoenix 77 can have this year, but hopefully over time in 2022 he'll start to feel a little better, and like he stated here in Race Department, it's a tribute to his brother, which is fantastic to see. And so on that basis, of course, I'd like to take the opportunity to wish everyone else, all my subscribers and viewers and the sim racing channels, all, if you're in Australia, we often still say it, a very Merry Christmas. Or if you're in England or the United States and you prefer the term Happy Christmas, or if you're not religious at all and you just want a great Christmas break and a Happy New Year, I hope for all of our sakes that although COVID is still kind of active and still trying to push along, hopefully 2022 will be a much better year for all of us in not only our sim racing lives but our personal lives as well. And so on that basis, I just wanted to do a nice easy Christmas cruise in the car you see on screen now. So let's have a closer look at the car I'm featuring in this video. And this is the car here in all its glory, and isn't she a beautiful looking car? This is the convertible Ferrari F12 TRS, and you can see it's not a very good view here, but it has an open engine where it has the clear or glass covering over the engine. You've got the convertible nature of the car, and quite aggressive looking as well. A beautiful car to drive. It will definitely suit alien drivers. They will absolutely love it, although there is a kind of a little bug or quirk or something for beginners, so I'll discuss that when we actually drive the car on the track. But overall, a fantastic looking car. And so now it's that time to give my own impressions by doing a Pacific Coast Christmas cruise. So this is Michael signing out for Single Racer. I wish you a fantastic Christmas, a great new year, and hopefully a much better 2022. So I'll catch you next time. See you later, and let's go cruising. Okay folks, so here we are in the Ferrari F12 TRS. Just checking the steering and making sure the lights work. And we're off. Just a gentle cruise. Now, I mentioned the bug earlier, and I'll talk about that later, but it was my plan to drive with nothing showing on the screen. But I do have a tip, and that is that I put the map on here because it was the first time I had downloaded, installed and driven this track, and I realised that I was crashing a lot because I just didn't know where I was going. So the map, and look at that beautiful scenery, the map acts kind of like a co-driver in rallies, and that's the tip I have. So when you start to understand the shape, so for instance I take this in second, I just have a quick look, a glance, there, go a bit wild there, but here you can see that hairpin So I know to go down to first, gentle here, she's a bit wild, and there I can look up and see that that's still a very tight corner, but the best bit about this is, in a rally sense, I can see what's coming up because I've never driven this track before. And I did, of course, have a few goes when I was doing it without anything showing on the screen, but I was crashing too much because I was just trying to guess where I was going. And with a lot of the corners, they look like heavy corners coming up, so I was braking when I didn't have to and then not braking when I needed to. So it's just a great tip to have the map on and treat it so there like it's left 2 and you know, left right 3, that kind of thing, like a rally co-driver would tell you, and you can adjust there like that beautifully through that section and drive much better and much faster than you could if you didn't have anything on and just didn't know where you were going until you memorised the track itself. So as we look across and look out, I got to say this is absolutely beautiful, but I'm sure you all know this already. You know, there's been plenty of videos that I've watched personally, and I'm sure you've watched, on how good the track looks. A couple of the things that I really like is I really like the contrast, which I naturally assume is in real life. Now look, here I'm coming up to a sharp hairpin bend, so I know to go down to first, and that's the real trick. Even though I didn't really want the map on, I knew I needed to because I just didn't know where I was going. But what I like is the contrast there. I don't know if there's a section here. No, so you've got all these sort of bushes, small trees, you know, grass. There is that section there where you've got this complete grassy mountain, and I like the contrast here, you know, beautiful. And of course, if you have the sun a bit lower, either coming up in dawn or going down in sunset, it's a beautiful, as I was too busy talking there and not concentrating on the map. So yeah, but I love the contrast of this type of vegetation, and you know, he's just when I say he, I mean Phoenix 77 has just done a superb job, along with all the people that helped him along the way, even in his earlier versions of this track and the other track that he's done. And look at the coastline there, absolutely beautiful. And of course, I'm sure you've all seen this before, but I'm a VR driver like a lot of you, and you know, it's that feeling of being in the car on a road that's real, driving with the real feeling that VR gives you, and it's just sensational. As I just be a little careful in this section. See here, I know to ease off, because it was like a co-driver would say, 2 right tightens, and that's really where having the map on is, if you've never driven the track on, and this goes for any track, any new track. See here, I can see there's another hairpin going, so I immediately know how much to change down to first gear to allow for it. But I can also see a quick look at what's coming out of the corner, whether there's another sharp bend, or I can accelerate coming out of the corner as it opens up. And I must admit, on that basis, I was a little bit surprised, although I was aware of it by watching other videos. Still, how many tighter turns? I was expecting the coast to be more open and flowing, but what I have noticed now is that it starts, even though you've got a couple of tighter turns where, as I go a bit wild there in second gear, it starts to open up now. But I was surprised at just how sharp some of the turns were. Now, here's a good time to talk about that bug with the car. And the car comes from the Shadowland. But I ended up putting the traction control on a tyre setting, which is number 4. And I was surprised there, as you could see by the wheel spin, that it almost feels like the traction control doesn't work. if I come out of any corner and I floor it, it just wants to spin. So I don't know if that's just the underdeveloped mod of the car, or the fact that maybe there's something missing in the code that they haven't got it apparently working. But as I come out of these tighter corners, if I floor it too hard, the wheels still seem to spin on the highest traction control setting of 4. So maybe this is not a car for beginners. It might be too difficult to keep it under control. But you know, it's a good idea just to make you aware of that. But that aside now, I can feel that the track is opening up. And you know, these are the great opportunities. I don't think I've got this out of third gear yet, but this is a fantastic car to drive. It's one of those on the edge kind of cars that you'd expect from a high performance Ferrari. You know, a real, if you're not careful, you can spin it at any second. But see here, the corners are still tight, but they're kind of settled down a bit and are a little bit more flowing, where I can kind of feel that I can ease out of the corner. Just a fantastic view. So here we're opening up now. I can feel like I can give it a bit more before I need to brake for the next corner. Here's a tighter one still. So down to second, or down to first I should say. I'm looking up at look at that, there's one of the tracks. I think that's one of the tracks that you can get if you buy or download some of the extras, which you can pay for. It's like bonus extras that come with the track, or you can just download it for free. And I'll eventually, if you don't have it already, I'll have a link in the description, of course, but I'm sure most of you have it already. But look at that view, just superb. And you know, this is one of the things where the argument where you talk about the view from a monitor versus the view in VR. In VR, you feel like you're on this road, you feel like you're in this car, and you know, one of the things that some people might not like is I don't do the whole monitor POV thing where I measure it. So in other words, I'm sitting back further, and have a look at that view. I'm sitting back further where I feel like I would be in real life. So my head is exactly, if I were to lean back, is exactly where the driver body is. Now some people don't like that. They like the closer POV view where you're sitting almost directly over the wheel. I personally don't like that myself. I prefer this more natural view where you see the arms and things like that. But each to their own, and that's the great thing about sim racing, is you can just adjust it to how you like. But like I said, on that basis, that's why I have the track map on. Very first time that I'm driving this today, so I purchased the extras, downloaded it, installed it, and I'm driving it, even though this is not my first drive. And have a look at that. There's actually a plane in the air. I never knew, I don't think I've ever seen that in a video. So a jet plane flying in the air. I have seen the Sim Racing 604 air balloon before, but not that plane. So there was an extra. Now have a look how the track opens up. I'm up to fourth gear here. So I'm just a little cautious still, because you know, it's one thing is it looks like the track's going to turn because you can't see it, but then you can open up. And I've already reached the end, so how's that? I'm talking my head off. This was so fantastic. So I hope you liked this Christmas cruise, this Pacific Coast Christmas cruise. And this is Michael signing out for Single Racer. I'll catch you next time again. Have a great Christmas and a happy new year. I'll probably see you in 2022 if there's not any cooler days, because I'm in my summer. But I'll catch you next time. See you later.